Hello, everybody, and welcome to From the Mezzanine, the Broadway podcast for the Broadway fans, where we talk about all things Broadway news, Broadway grosses, and let's be honest, all of the tea and gossip that happens week to week in the Broadway stratosphere. And I am your host, Lindsay Stone. Welcome to this week's episode of From the Mezzanine, everybody. Oh my gosh, I am so excited because I feel like this is a perfect episode because we're going to recap a show that I saw yesterday. I then got to interview cast members of said show after the production. And then after we get through all of the interviews and recapping Empire Records, then we're going to get into the Broadway news. I'm so excited for this week. And it is the day. The day of my people. It has finally come. It is the day of the Broadway Flea. I am recording this before. I will be there right when it opens, so it is early for your girl. But I woke up at like 6 a.m. this morning. I was ready to go. I was like, this is the day. I love today. This is my favorite. If you're watching on YouTube, you may have noticed I have the cutest shirt on right now. Sincerely, Soda. I mean, look at this. It's so cute. This is made by a patron, a Broadway bestie, Nikki, and she is doing her own little small business of t-shirts, and her first collection is all Outsiders themed. And I'm obsessed with this shirt. I'm so excited to rep it today at the Broadway Flea. It is called Matinee Made. Go follow them on Instagram. The collection drops in October. Shout out Nikki. Thank you for the tea. I love it. So if you've been following me online, you may have seen we have a very, very exciting interview coming up. It's coming down the pipeline of FTM. It's not this week. It's not next week. It's coming soon, though. And buckle up, guys. Get excited. It is somebody I've been dying to have on the podcast. I already recorded the episode earlier this week, and it was a ball. And I don't want to tease it too much because I know you have time to wait for it. But I'm excited. I'm excited to release it for you guys, but I am so excited for today's interviews as well with Pearce and Analise Scarpaci, who I have been following both of their careers for what feels like years now. Pearce, of course, I absolutely fell in love with him in How to Dance in Ohio, with his performance, with his character, with his voice. And seeing him in Empire Records yesterday, I was even further impressed and just blown away by his vocal capabilities. His voice is out of this world, the things he can do with it. He sounds like Roger from Rent at sometimes. He sounds like an angel from heaven. I don't know how else to put it. He has such control, and I think he is going to continue to do incredible things in his career, but I think he's going to be one of the best vocalists of our generation. I'm dead serious. And Analise Scarpaci, I have been following her career from before I even moved to New York City. I saw her at a studio, I always call it Studio 54, and I think I call it that in the interview that you'll hear in a minute, a 54 Below show where she sang Sarah Bareilles. And so I saw that she was in Empire Records. I was like, I would love to sit down and chat with her because I have just been following her career. She's an artist as well. She's released her own music, and I think she's just incredible. She's a really, really capable and diverse performer. For her to have been in Mrs. Doubtfire playing the sister, and then when she was younger she was in Matilda. She's always been in these family friendly roles, and then her role in Empire Records takes a sharp left turn. It is very, very different. It's just much more mature and rooted in real life and real challenges that people face, especially. So before we get into all of that, let me tell you a little bit about this show, at a glance, a synopsis, because there is a cult classic movie which it is based on. But I wasn't familiar with the movie prior to seeing Empire Records. And so it was all a new, fresh story for me. So for you guys, if you're unfamiliar, Empire Records, it follows this troupe of misfit weirdos who work in this 90s record store. And they're so angsty and edgy for the most part, but they're all it's a wild cast of characters. You have this one guy, his name is Mark in the show, and he's got blue hair, and he literally is like the epitome of when you think of like 90s movie weirdo funky dude, like that's him, and he did it so well. It was really, really funny. I loved his character. And then there's like this guy who's like in a black turtleneck, and he's like I don't know, like kind of like a mime type, and he's like slinking in the back, and he's really mysterious, and you're like, who is that guy? He's so weird, and like all of his lines are like pieces of poetry, you know, like he's so funny. And then like Liam's character, he is like a lovesick puppy for Lorna Courtney's character, and he's so in love with her and trying to figure out how to show and tell her that he's in love with her. But also at the same time, they're all kind of at the age of like seniors in high school, and like to a degree, or actually I think they are all seniors in high school. But it's not so much about that. They're just like young, figuring out who they are. It's definitely a coming of age sort of story. And then Annalise's character, she is going through a lot, and you're always seeing her, and you're like, what is that girl like? Is she just sad? What is she like? What is she going through? But you know that there's more to the story. Come to find out, she's battling demons of her own, and she is struggling with self-harm, and she's definitely trying to make it off to be like, yeah, so what? This is just what I do. And then she unveils the reasons behind it and her personal hardships. And Annalise did it in such like a true way. It was really, really beautiful and just real and raw, you know? But yeah, and then there's the guy who created Empire Records. He used to be in a rock band himself, and he is the owner, and he takes all these kids under his wing, and he provides for them in a really nice way. And actually the actor, he used to be Hamilton on Broadway, so that was really cool. And then there's this other crazy character that just comes in and basically like shakes the fabric and the foundation of Empire Records as a whole, and his name is Rex Manning, and he rolls in, and he's supposed to be this hot shot rock star. Come to find out, he's pretty washed up, and he's not a good person, and that becomes apparent pretty quickly. But he's got these young girls fawning over him, and so that unleashes a whole new issue in and of itself. And so it's a very layered plot. There's a lot of conflicts, like Liam Pearce's character, AJ, wanting to, you know, say his love to Corey, Lorna Courtney, and then this Rex Manning character and his relationships with everybody else. Meanwhile, Empire Records as a whole, the company is being bought out. And the owner is really kind of put up between a rock and a hard place. Like, am I going to betray everything I know and love and sell our little record shop over to this big conglomerate record store? Like, no, I can't do that. It goes against everything I stand for. But at the same time, they're going under quick. So anyways, it was a really fun story to follow, a really easy story to follow. And I love stories on Broadway that are easy to follow, where you're not like, wait, who's that? Where are we headed? What's going on? And the music as a whole, guys. Y'all know I love Jagged Little Pill. Y'all know I love Alanis Morissette's music and Jagged Little Pill. Y'all know. And this was so... It is its own creation entirely. However, it was so reminiscent of that sort of like vibe and rage. And I love Broadway, where it just like, it has a whole emotion of its own. And this show does. And sometimes you're like getting lost in a gorgeous lullaby or love song between two people who need to be together. And then it's like rocking out and like, damn the man, you know what I'm saying? So it was really, really fun. Britt and I drove out to Princeton, New Jersey to see the show, and we were so beyond happy we did, and we knew we would be, obviously. Like, we had to go see it. And so I think without further ado, it's time for you guys to hear the interviews. So here are my interviews with Liam Pearce and Analise Scarpaci. Enjoy! Happy listening! Hi, everybody. I am here with Liam Pearce, who is currently starring in Empire Records at the McCarter Theater as AJ.
What's
Liam,
up?
how are you enjoying this show?
Oh my gosh, it's just a blast. It's so cool to be able to sing this like punk, like 90s kind of score. I grew up like singing this kind of stuff. And yeah, to be able to like have like the influences of that from like my like childhood and stuff, and now, and also with musical theater, like doing both of those together has been just like a blast. And this group is just 10 out of 10.
Oh
So,
my gosh, 10 out of 10. When I was watching it, I had the impression, if you like Rent, if you like Rock of Ages, if you like Jagged Little Pill, you will love Empire Records. You talked about some of those like you're growing up and seeing those and hearing those sorts of sounds and those genres, those rock genres. What do you feel like those were the big standouts for me for this show? What do you feel like this show kind of brings that, you know, other people might hear and latch on to?
You mean like sonically and like musically?
Yeah.
I mean, I think like completely stepping outside of musical theater, you have like songs in the show that are like truly reminiscent of like bands and like artists from the 90s. Like you have stuff that sounds like Alanis and
that really stood out to me,
and like Green Day and like Sinead O'Connor and like a bunch of like artists like that, which I think is like really cool. Oh, like there's a bunch of stuff that's like inspired by like Jeff Buckley in this show. So like really like people who like are into those like 90s like grunge and punk and pop bands will really latch onto this music.
Yeah. So what about whenever you first heard about Empire Records being turned into a musical?
I had never seen them. I had never seen the movie. Like I truly just got like a self tape for this. And I was like, yeah, this is like a 10 out of 10 team. It was like Zoe and Tripp and Eleanor and Carol, who like it said like she was the original screenwriter of the movie. So I just knew that like this creative process would be so fun. And then when I like explored a little bit like of the music that they had sent over, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like a punk score. Like this is so dope, and I want to be a part of this. And then I did a little bit more research from the movie from there, and I was like, this is a weird funky movie. I don't know how this is gonna work, but I think they did a fantastic job adapting something that has like a good structure and a good story, but really giving some more meat and depth to it with music and with just this iteration of that story.
Yes, 100%. And the characters are something that everybody can relate to. They are so different. Every single character, you have one guy who's sort of like this reserved in the back. You won't even notice that he's there. And then all of a sudden he pops up and he says these bizarre things and it's hilarious. And your character, AJ, is just a heartbroken, like lovesick puppy dog almost. And he plays opposite Lorna Courtney, and their chemistry is unmatched, you guys. Tell us about your character of AJ.
Oh, I think he is just like, I love him a lot. I think he's super just like sweet and loves all the people around him. He loves working at the store, even though it's like a pain and like there are days that are long and that are exhausting, but like in his heart, he just knows that like that is his home away from home. And I think he's found a really good like community of people there. And then obviously like his crush on the Corey character is drives him like throughout the plot. And I think he's an artist, so he's like a visual artist that he gets to like express that in like posters and stuff that he makes around the store. So yeah, he's super sweet.
You enjoy playing him?
Yeah, for sure.
Do you feel some of yourself as in him at all?
Yeah, I mean, I always try to like put a little bit of like aspects of myself into characters I play, just to make it feel a little bit more real and close to home. So yeah, I definitely think he is like his softness and his like love for the people around him is very similar to how I am.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. So in this show, y'all are saving your hometown record store. Is there a local landmark that you have back in your hometown that you would like rally the troops, like we're saving this place?
Absolutely. Like my community theater that I did like so much stuff with was my home away from home. I did it's called Theater Charlotte. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
And I did like countless shows there all throughout high school. And I'd say that if there were ever any like sort of trouble that happened there, I'd be like, oh, we got to fix that.
We're planning a party.
And
absolutely. We're blowing the roof off this place and we're raising the money.
For sure.
I love that. Let's get into some rapid fire questions.
Awesome. Let's do it. Let's have fun.
We?
Yeah. Awesome.
It's like my favorite thing to do.
Okay,
here we go. Describe Empire Records in 3 words.
Okay. Community, joy, and just like punk, just like
I was gonna say like rager.
Just like rager.
Like, that's the vibe. If you could play one other character in Empire Records, who would it be?
Oh, it'd be Deb for sure. I love her music, the stuff that she sings so much.
Yes, and y'all's characters are connected in this really beautiful way.
I love that's one of my favorite parts of the show is the friendship between AJ and Deb.
And I love the trajectory that Deb takes. She goes from this broken character, and in the end, she's just a star. And it's beautiful. And it's absolutely. Like people who are finding Deb in that low place, they're going to see her shine in the end and be like, I can do that too. I see that. I love that. Okay. What is your favorite song in Empire Records?
It really changes day to day. I love Cover Me With Sound. And that's just like the one where we all like find out that the store is like potentially going to be closing, and it's like with the 6 clerks plus Warren, we all just like rediscover our love for this place, and it's just like this like triumphant anthem about halfway through the show. So today I think Cover Me With Sound is my answer. I
love that. Okay, riddle me this, because I just saw it, and I think my favorite song is the one where y'all are telling the Empire Records owner, like, this is who we are. What is that song?
Future Generation.
I like that song.
That is a banger to perform. It's a lot of fun. That would definitely be like a top 3 for me.
Like sure. How fun.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
That's the moment where that was like the turning point for me. I was like, okay, this is good. And then at that moment I was like, I love this show.
Yeah. It's the one that if you're not hooked in by then, you're coming along for the ride after that.
I loved it. Which cast member in the current cast of Empire Records do you think could save the future of the record store all on their own?
Oh, Spoon for sure. The guy who plays Warren, 100% him. He is just like awesome, like musician and stuff. Like he has like, he brought out with him from New York like ton of like recording equipment and like all of his guitars, and we literally would go over to his place and like jam all the time. So
that is
fun. I think Spoon's got it in the bag. He can do it.
He could save the whole store. That's iconic. Okay, what I almost said ironic, because we were just talking about, I was like, this sounds so much like Jagged Little Pill on a s'more set. Okay, isn't it ironic? Okay, what record album have you had on repeat lately?
Theo Katzman is a singer-songwriter, and he just dropped a live album of a show of his most recent tour that he did in London. And I love his music a lot. I actually saw his tour when he was in New York last April. And so to be able to listen to that has been dope, because he is an artist who like thrives when he's playing live. So that's what I've been listening to a lot. Yeah.
I love that. And this isn't on the cards, but I just had a great question idea. Okay. What sort of songs do you think AJ listens to?
Oh, I have a whole playlist. It's all like 90s kind of stuff, just to like kind of get into that world. But there's a lot of Jeff Buckley on there. There's a good amount of like 80s like kind of music, just like because like that's like what he would have been listening to like as like a 20-ish year old in the 90s. So like a bunch of like oldies. Elton John, I love them.
Okay. And do you listen to that to get into character?
Yeah, occasionally. Yeah,
cool.
I'll listen to it. Yeah,
I like it. What has been your favorite memory with Empire Records?
I feel like really like running like the first like couple runs we did of the show, and we really started to feel it in our bodies, was really exciting, and we just kind of like felt something really cool happening with it. So I definitely say like putting this show together has been so exciting, and has been one of the more like collaborative like things I've done in my life. So it's been really great to have that. Yeah.
That's beautiful. And you can feel the collaboration come through with this cast. Y'all seem so close. It's a really beautiful thing to see. Yeah. And like I said, your characters are all so different, but you come together in this beautiful way. And for so many people, I'd be watching them, then I'd be watching them, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, like the dichotomy of it all. Like somebody's like rocking out over here, and somebody's like in their feels over here. It was so fun. What y'all are doing is really special. I love it here. Okay, let's play our game.
Okay.
Save the record.
Okay.
So Liam has been briefed. There's going to be a winning record at the very end, and I'm going to give him a trove of musical theater albums that I'm sure that you know very well. All and at the end, we'll have his favorite. So
probably going to be some hot takes in here. I'm excited.
Yeah. Okay. Liam Pearce, save the record.
All right.
Dear Evan Hansen or Legally Blonde?
Legally Blonde.
Legally Blonde or Hairspray?
Oh, that's tough right out of the gate. Oh man. I'm gonna go. I'm going to go Hairspray.
Yeah. Hairspray or Pippin?
Pippin.
Pippin or Moulin Rouge?
Pippin.
Pippin or Hair?
It's all so tough. I'm going to have to say Hair.
Hair or Rent?
Rent.
Rent or Mamma Mia?
Rent.
Rent or Hamilton?
Rent.
Rent or Grease?
Rent.
Liam saved Rent!
That makes a lot of sense for me, yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming on From the Mezzanine.
Course. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a blast. Yeah, absolutely.
Come see Empire Records
at
the McCarter Theater,
got
you guys.
2 more weeks out here in Princeton. Yeah.
You don't want to miss it.
Don't want to miss it. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Hi, everybody. I am here with Analise Scarpaci, who plays Deb in Empire Records here at the McCarter Theater. Analise, welcome to From the Mezzanine.
Hi, thanks for having me.
How are you doing today? How are you loving being in Empire Records?
I'm having such a blast. We're here in Princeton, which I've never been before this.
Me neither, before today.
It's gorgeous, isn't it?
Oh my God, stunning.
Welcome to our home.
I'm like, should I go back to college?
Yeah. You know what? I mean, I don't know if I would have been able to survive here.
So true.
But here we are.
And has it been fun being here with this cast where it seems like y'all are just like thick as thieves, like BFFs? I love it.
You know what? Everybody says this about shows that you become a family, but I also think it's very special. And I've seen this with shows that I've been in the past as well. When you are living together and living in a location separately from New York, whereas like when you're doing something in New York, you go back to your apartments. Who lives in Jersey? Who lives, like, I'm from Staten Island, I go back there. Who lives in Brooklyn? Whereas here we're all going back to either like on set locations that we're living in. So I think it's very different when we're all together all the time and we really create these special bonds. And I think that it's super helpful for something like this because we spend every day together.
That's beautiful. And I feel like that closeness, it translates into the show. And your character of Deb, she's so layered. And you meet her and I feel like she's at this like desolate low point. And you're like, I know people who have gone through that. And the path that your character takes through the length of the show is really beautiful. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Thank you. Yeah, she's so interesting, and she's honestly one of my, well, she is my favorite role that I've ever played in my life.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
I love that for you.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I can see why.
Yeah, she's just so human in every way. And to me, like when I first got the audition, I was sent an audition for Gina. And I read it and I was like, all right, I don't know.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't like the role. I love the role. I just didn't see myself playing Gina.
Yeah.
And then about a couple days later, casting emailed my reps and they were like, hey, we'd love to see her for Deb. And my manager was like, I don't know, like, do you like wanna? And I was like, I read it and I heard Scissors, which is the song that I sing. And I was like, absolutely. No questions asked. I'm not auditioning for Gina. I'm just focusing on Deb.
Wow.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, like, going through this process, auditioning. I had never felt more proud of myself in a role, in like just preparing for a role. And I knew that even if I didn't get it, that like, I knew that I had found a part of myself that was so different from anything I've ever done. So I was just happy to just audition for her.
That is so beautiful.
And to get to do that every day is just, it's just something that I'm really proud of because I didn't think that I would be able to do something like this.
You should be really proud of it. And it speaks a lot to your acting technique and your abilities on stage. I followed you for quite a while. I saw you on Studio 54. It was like a night of singing, I think it was Sarah Bareilles or something. Were you there?
Yeah, I was there.
Okay. And that was like 2 years ago and I saw you and I followed you ever since. And I'm like, she's such a cute girly. She's like so FTM coded. Like, and then, so I was coming to see you in this and then I see you and I'm like, oh, her character, like for the first, I would say like, I don't know, 30 minutes of the show, you're kind of in the background and you're really curious about her. And like you draw us in and make us wonder like something's going on here.
Yeah.
And I hope we get to find out what it is. And then eventually you sing your song Scissors and like you draw back the curtain of like, this is me. This is why I'm not just being like an angsty teen. I'm dealing with like real life trials. And I think it was really beautiful. How has the reception been for your character and then for Empire Records as a whole?
Everybody seems to be loving the show as a whole and loves, I think the feedback that I have been getting was just, they see a lot of them who has seen a lot of themselves in Deb or seen a lot of themselves in AJ or Corey or Gina. And that's the truth of the matter. We're real people playing real people.
Yeah.
And I think it's so incredibly special, and I'm so happy to be a part of something that is touching people like it is.
I loved it. And it was fun. Like, her character is like breaks your heart. For sure. But there are a lot of really fun parts. And by the end, you're like rocking out. You are like leading the fight to save Empire Records. What does that moment feel like?
Oh my God. You know what? I'm just so excited to do that every day.
Yeah.
And I was
you're like a
so
rock star.
freaking scared. I was so scared because it's like, I've been playing guitar since I was 14 years old. But I know I do not play in public.
Oh,
that's not a thing that I do.
Wow.
So I play in the comfort of my own home on my bed. I write music, and that's it.
Wow.
And when I auditioned for this show, I was like, well, here I go. I'm going to play this song. And I had to play in the audition, and I had to sing Lights Go Out, and I sang it, and it went really well.
Yes, of course. Yes, it did. Yeah.
And then when I got the job, I was like, I need to sing in public somewhere. So I actually did a 54 Below show right before doing this. And I was like, I'm going to play the guitar. And I sang My Way by Frank Sinatra.
Oh,
like
wow.
any Italian American would.
Yes, and you took the moment, like My Way.
Like,
what a
let
song
me
to
do this and prepare myself for this moment.
That's incredible.
And I'm just, it's so empowering to like her journey, to watch Deb's and to go along her journey with her throughout the show. And it's only 1 hour and 37 minutes.
And it flies by.
It flies by. But 1:37 is so important in this show.
Wait, I didn't even realize you dropped that little tidbit. Shut up.
I did.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
If you
and
know,
let
you
me
know.
tell you, it's not planned. It was not planned.
No, that's not true.
That was, I swear,
I have chills.
cosmic. That was cosmic. Let me tell you.
That's crazy. I love that. That's how you know the show is meant to be.
Yeah.
What parts of Deb do you think you'll carry with you in your future career?
Oh, man. You know what? She's just so incredibly honest with others. But she has so many walls. And that's something that I have.
Yeah.
And I'll never, like, reading her material for the first time, I honestly have never felt more myself. And I feel that for me specifically, I was a child actor, and I've been in this industry for 15 years.
That is wild.
Which is crazy for me to think because I am so young.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is my first show without children.
Wow. I had that thought when we were watching. I was like, look at her. Because I know you're in Matilda.
Yes.
And
Mrs. Doubtfire was my most recent thing. And I mean, even though I was 21, 22, my kids were still there and I love them dearly. And now they're all grown up now. It's crazy. But for this to happen, like having Deb in my life, I'm just going to take her as a whole with me.
That's beautiful.
Because it's just so significant for not only my growth as an actor, but my growth as a human. And it's just like a big turning point in my life. And I'm really grateful.
I'm really happy for you.
Thank you.
And I feel like had you not had this opportunity, or not had you not, but I feel like this opportunity is, I can tell how much it's meant to you as an actor, and it made an impression on everybody in the audience. It's really beautiful.
Thank
you. You should be very proud. Okay, with all of that sappiness over.
Let's do it.
Let's get into some rapid fire questions, shall we? Okay, rapid fire. Let's go.
Okay.
Describe Empire Records in 3 words.
Let's see. Fun, hilarious, and real.
Yeah. If you could play one other character in Empire Records, who would it be?
Mark.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Anytime I looked at him, I just, like, Bryn can vouch for it. I was laughing so hard.
No, let me tell you something about Eric, who plays Mark.
I need to know.
I am so honored, 1, to be his friend, but 2, to witness how he created that character is just absurd to me.
Can you tell us, like, a tidbit of it?
Like, he's just, like, insane. There's no other way to describe it than utterly insane. And he just he just is so willing to look like a crazy fool.
Yeah.
And enjoys it.
And it was cathartic.
He's not embarrassed at all. And I want to be so free like that.
Yeah.
And whereas like Deb is just like not.
Yeah, yeah.
And me as a human, I am just not.
Sure.
So it's just, I would love to play Mark.
He's like if you plucked him out of a 90s film back then and just went, now you're in 2024.
And the fact that he was like, I'm going to dye my hair blue. Like they were like, will you dye your hair blue? And he was like, yes, go for it.
Incredible. Great. Please, can y'all switch roles at some point? I would love to see it. And can I play Mark too? That looks fun. What is your favorite song in Empire Records?
You know what?
Mm-hmm.
I love 137. I know everybody it's so on brand for me.
I love it.
I love 137.
I loved it.
It was originally, when Liam was first doing this, it was in another key, and then they switched the key, and I was like, oh, some keys just get you.
Yeah.
And that was the key. But I love who I am and who I was, specifically Taylor Ramon Jones's voice in that song. Thank you and good night.
Absolutely wild. Which cast member in Empire Records do you think could save the future of the record store all on their own?
Taylor Ramon Jones.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Taylor Ramon Jones can do quite literally anything.
Absolutely.
And I am the #1 fan of her fan club. I'm the president. A lot of people will fight me on that, but whatever.
She's got the title.
Thank you.
She wears the crown. What record album have you had on repeat lately?
Well, it's on my shirt, Rumors by Fleetwood Mac.
There you have it. She's repping it. Describe your character, Deb, in 3 words.
Oh, gosh. I know I said this about the show, but real.
Mm-hmm.
Resilient.
Mm-hmm.
And different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What is your favorite line in Empire Records?
It's one that I say because it was added like the day before we opened.
I love that.
And it's I'm holding up the Music Town apron and I say I can't wear this. People are going to call me Debbie.
Yeah.
And that I believe was derived from the fact that like everybody here calls me Little Debbie.
Stop. Yeah.
And it's like Little Debbie. And like
Deb would hate that.
Yeah, I know. And it's so funny because like in so many ways I am like Deb, but in so many ways I'm so unlike her, and like she would like cringe if I ever walked into a room, which is hilarious in itself.
Yeah.
So, Lil Debbie is like, she's a part of me. So that's why it's my favorite.
Beautiful. What has been your favorite moment with Empire Records?
I think on stage it's scissors, honestly.
That has to be freeing. Like
it's a lot, just finding it from the way that it was when I auditioned versus the way that it is now is so completely different. Yeah. And Liam and I actually went to college together. So
he mentioned that.
Yeah, so we went to college together. 3 of us, me, Sammy, and Liam all went to college together.
That's crazy.
And to get to do this with both of them is one, incredible, but to get to be scene partners with Liam specifically in this, and for somebody who has known me for so long, and for somebody who quite literally was my scene partner in one of my classes, is something so special.
Yeah, what a gift.
There's, there's a lot there, and we have a very special bond that we've created, and that's even stronger now, and it's really great to
I love that for you guys, honestly. That's really cool. Okay, let's play our game, Save the Record.
Save the record.
She knows the drill.
I do.
We're going to have a winning musical album record by the end of it.
I'm so scared.
You should be. I think you should be.
Yeah, I know. I feel like you're going to give me like really good ones, and I'm going to be really upset.
Okay, let's play Save the Record with Annalise. We have Dear Evan Hansen or Mean Girls.
Dear Evan Hansen.
Dear Evan Hansen or Ragtime?
Ragtime.
Ragtime or Six?
Ragtime.
Ragtime or The Outsiders? Go with your heart.
The Outsiders.
The Outsiders or Hamilton?
The Outsiders.
The Outsiders or Newsies?
Newsies.
Newsies or Wicked?
Newsies.
Newsies or Rent?
Newsies.
Newsies or Hairspray?
Newsies.
Newsies or Gypsy?
Gypsy.
Gypsy is the record we are saving.
Abso-friggin-lutely.
Gypsy. Okay, thank you so much, Annalise.
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. Come and see Empire Records at the McCarter Theater, you guys.
Damn the man, save the empire.
Amen. Okay, come on, guys. Wasn't that the best? It was so cool to be able to watch them perform and then immediately thereafter sit down with the actors. That was awesome, awesome, awesome. And I want to do more of that in the future because it just was so cool to get to watch them and with fresh eyes then right after be coming off that show high, you know what I mean? And sit down with them and talk to them about their show. I absolutely loved it and I want to do it again. And I want to go back to the McCarter Theater. They were such awesome hosts. But with that, guys, let's get into the rest of our episode, kicking it off with Broadway grosses. So this is for the week ending on September 15th. At the top of the list, we have Wicked once again. Number 2 is The Lion King. Cabaret is 3 because it's the first week. Is that what I predicted? It is the first week with Ali'i Cravalho and Adam Lambert. I need to see this show. I won the lottery for yesterday's performance, and it just so happened to be the exact same time I had tickets to go and see Empire Records. So it's like, you're kidding. Like, you're kidding. Of course, the one time I win the cabaret lottery, I've got another show to see. That's just how the cookie crumbles, but it is what it is. But that's really crazy that they're now in number 3, meaning Hamilton is bumped down to 4. This is what I predicted. I thought that Adam Lambert and Ali'i were going to kind of fit the demo a little bit more for Broadway than Eddie Redmayne and Gail Rankin. And I feel like this is an indication that they do. However, it's just their first week, so we can't be too sure just yet. But I have a really good feeling that this is gonna blow up in a really good way. And oh my gosh, I'm praying I win the lottery again. Hamilton is 4, like I said. Hell's Kitchen is 5. MJ is 6. Moulin Rouge is 7. The Outsiders is 8. So that is a bump down for The Outsiders. That is a bump up for Moulin Rouge. That's awesome. And also a bump up for MJ. I'm not sure exactly why that is. But keep in mind, guys, that these shows at those levels, like after you get past Hamilton, Hell's Kitchen, MJ, Moulin Rouge, and The Outsiders, they're all truly neck and neck. Well, actually not Hell's Kitchen so much, but MJ, Moulin Rouge, and The Outsiders, their difference between them all is $100,000, which, yeah, sounds like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things of a whole entire week of grosses, it's really not. And I also want to point out that The Outsiders' capacity was now at 97.6%. So it is steadily declining to a degree. And I think that is only because it is solely because school has started and not so many people can rush anymore. It's not the glory days, the dog days of summer anymore. And a lot of their customer base were students and probably teachers too, because it is, based on a book. And so I think just that rush of summer ending, it's not going to make a big enough difference, but it is something to note that it's no longer 102% capacity anymore, which honestly, are we all kind of happy about for ourselves that the rush line is chilled out? I think so. So behind The Outsiders at number 9 is Aladdin and 10 is Great Gatsby. Okay, that Great Gatsby is bumped up. So what is bumped down? Harry Potter and the Cursed Child is bumped down. I think that's probably it. Right behind them, though, is Oh Mary at 11. And I want to note that McNeil is at 12. Now, I am seeing McNeil at the end of October. I'm really excited to see it because Robert Downey Jr. is in it. And my queen, Melora Harding. Oh my God, I love her. She's going to be at the Broadway Flea today. And she's from The Office. She plays Jan. I might actually lose my mind when I see her. Like, I love that woman. I love The Office. And I'm so excited to see McNeil. However, I've heard that McNeil is not it. I've seen the reviews, but I don't think they haven't opened yet. They're still in previews. But from just the word on the street, people are not enjoying it. 'Tis what it is. But I'm still excited, obviously. And by the grosses, I can tell people are loving it. It's in a teeny tiny theater. and it's still grossing this much. So those tickets are really high. We bought our tickets literally months ago, like probably 7 months ago. And shout out Broadway bestie Bryn, because she's the one who keeps her finger on the pulse of all of these deals and stuff. And so we secured tickets for like $35 way back when. And God bless that we did that. And they only had 5 performances last week. So the fact that they grossed almost $1 million with 5 performances in a teeny tiny theater, the Vivian Beaumont, it's pretty remarkable. Pretty remarkable. Okay, folks, let's see what's like at the bottom though before we run away. So it's some plays. I don't really want to like speak on the plays because they're always like in smaller theaters, but the lowest grossing musical right now is The Notebook, which is sad because it announced its closing already. So you would think and you would hope that it would skyrocket up. But that doesn't appear to be the case, unfortunately. And right above it is Water for Elephants. So they are neck and neck. Therefore, that closing announcement is going to come soon, guys. 6 is right above that. And then Back to the Future is right above that. So I don't know, girlies who are loving 6, so y'all might want to go see your show. I don't know. I have a hard time envisioning a world in which 6 is not on Broadway anymore, but it has run for a long time. It opened back in 2020 and then it closed down. It opened like the week of like March 2020 or something like that. It was like right then. And then it came back. So it's been running for, a good 3 years. Might be closing time over there at 6, unfortunately. Okay, with that sad news, oh my God, I feel like I've broken hearts. Sorry. With that sad news, let's get into some exciting Broadway news of the week. It is the triple threat of casting news this week. We are getting casting news left and right, y'all. And I'm so excited because we got more Warriors news. Y'all know we have been tracking. This is a story we have been tracking because it's got Lin Manuel Miranda's, it's got Lin Manuel Miranda's name on it. And it looks badass. And I'm so ready for this cast album to come out. Well, not cast, a concept album. And it is coming out October 18th. So we are so close and I'm so excited. I hope it has like a musical sound. I feel like it's going to be like more cinematic. Oh, wait, no, let's get to the facts of the matter, the news that came out this week. So for the last couple of weeks, Lin has been releasing Casey Likes is going to be playing this gang member. Joshua Henry will be playing this gang member. But the last puzzle piece we were missing was who is going to be playing the Warriors. Well, in true Lin Manuel Miranda fashion, it may have not been what you were expecting, and it is all women. I love that. And honestly, I feel like okay, let's not pat myself on the back too much, but I feel like I had that thought before I ever saw it. When I heard like, okay, the Warriors cast is going to come out, I was like, he's already using all of these huge people. Mark Anthony, like whoever the Warriors cast is, there's a reason he's withholding this information from us. And it's going to be something big and it's not going to be what we're expecting. And I feel like I had the thought, I feel like it's going to be women. I don't want to like, I think I thought it. Okay. I think I did. I didn't say it on the podcast. I wish I would have. So it was in writing. But okay. Anyways. Yes, it is all women and we are having like a Hamilton reunion. A lot of these women have been in Hamilton. Philippa Sue, for one, is going to be playing Fox. Alongside her is her sister, her Skylar sister, Jasmine Cephas Jones, will be playing Swan, Jazzy Jones. Literally, I love these two. I love Jazzy Jones. Obviously, I love Philippa Sue. If this comes to Broadway, please, can we enlist the help of Renee Elise Goldsberry, please, so we can complete the triumvirate, please. Amber Gray, who y'all know from Hadestown, will be playing Ajax. Julia K. Harriman will be playing Mercy. And Julia has played the role of Elizabeth, Skylar, and Peggy, and Angelica on the Hamilton tours. So a lot of these people, like, I love how Lin always enlists the help of his, like, previous cast members in anything. Like, he just recycles and recycles the people he's close with, and I love it when people do that. And he always brings people into the fold, like, new names, upcoming stars, but he always stays true to the people who have been there for the long run. And I feel like as Hamilton fans, we just love that. We love seeing it. And I love the fact that the Schuyler sisters are back together. Okay. Anyways, Okay, Giselle Jimenez will be playing Rembrandt. And if you look her up, you will recognize her, I promise. She was in Tick, Tick, Boom. And she was the one who sang the Superbia song at the piano. She's got this really cute, like, curly black bob. And it was like I can't think of the Tick, Tick, Boom song right now. The Superbia one. It's like, the something but is the ba. The line of choice is the something. You'll know what I'm talking about, right? That song. It's about your face. Oh my God, I can't. It's on the tip of my tongue. I cannot think. Maybe because it's like 8 a.m. Okay. Anyways, next. I'm super excited that she's in it. I loved her voice in Superbia. Tick, tick, boom / Superbia, you know. Anissa Folds is going to be playing Cleon. And if you look her up, you'll recognize her as well. She was in Freestyle Love Supreme, and she's got a super recognizable face. I feel like Lin has her on his arm like all the time. And I don't know, she looks like really good. And I don't know, I feel like I just am really excited about this. Sasha Hutchins will be playing the cowgirl, and she was in the original Broadway cast of Hamilton. Her playbill resume was like miles long. She's been in Oklahoma, My Fair Lady, Motown, Rocky, Memphis, like a lot of stuff. So she's definitely a veteran of Broadway. See, these are all big Broadway names, so this has to come to Broadway, please. And then lastly, to round out our gang of women warriors, we have Kenita Miller as Cochise. I'm sorry, I don't really know how to pronounce that. But this person, they were in Come From Away, Once on This Island. They also had a very thick playbill resume. Anyways, like I said, the album is coming out on October 18th. Girly, I am ready. I'm ready. I'm going to be sat listening to that all day. And obviously, I love the fact that we have an all-women, strong leading cast. We've got a hell of a lot of other good names, but the fact that it's all women of color, too, is a huge, like, would we expect anything less from Lin? It's just remarkable. Everything he does, I'm just, like, so happy we have him on Broadway and making these big choices of putting these women at the forefront of a major production. It's really, really cannot be understated how wonderful that is. So, love you, Lin, and love what you're doing with Warriors. Our next in our triple threat of casting news this week, news story number 2. First of all, I don't think we've talked about it before, but there's a new play coming to Broadway, and it is called Cult of Love. And this week, we got the casting. Before we get to the casting, though, let's learn a little bit, like at a glance, a synopsis of what Cult of Love is about. So it follows 4 adult children and their partners as they return home for a rocky holiday gathering. Now, when I first read Cult of Love, I was like, ooh, we're getting like a weird culty play on Broadway. This is so my taste. I love creepy things. I love cults. Okay, like, I feel like you shouldn't say I love cults. I like true crime girly, and cults fascinate me. Maybe that's a better way to put it. And I was like, Cult of Love? Okay, we're getting some funky love cult play on Broadway. And then I read it's just like another family play. Like, after Appropriate, after Mother play, I don't know. Do we really need another play based around a family? I hope it'll be good, and I love the cast that they have for this, which is why we're talking about it today. But they're going to have to do something special here. I just feel like it's an easy plot to be like, oh, another disjointed crazy family, our family's wild, wait till you find out why. And like, I loved Appropriate, don't get me wrong, I freaking loved it. I loved Pearly too, and that was based around kind of a family but a bigger picture as well, with like the town and everything too. So I wouldn't really put that in this category. But yeah, like, I don't know. I just read that and I was like, Cult of Love. I feel like the meaning of the title now is like, when you're in a family, you are forced to love each other. Therefore, it's like a cult of loving your family. I just feel like the trope is overdone. Someone had to say it, but that doesn't deter me from my excitement about this casting. And I'm going to see it because at the helm of it, we have Shailene Woodley, who you guys definitely know from Fault in Our Stars, Divergent, Big Little Lies. She is a Hollywood A-list actress, and the fact that she's coming to Broadway is freaking huge. I'm really excited about that. And also the other casting member that I'm really, if not, I might be more excited about her, is Barbie Ferreira. She was in Euphoria, and I just really love her acting. I loved her acting in Euphoria. I feel like I've seen her in other things. I feel like she did a lot when she was maybe a little bit younger, but I really just freaking love her as an actress, and I think she's going to be incredible in a play. So I will see this show. I will definitely give it a chance. I'm just like, ugh, another family story, whatever. Pessimistic today. Sorry about it. Our next, and to round out our triple threat of casting news, you guys, we got our Parade tour casting. And I am so excited about this for a couple reasons. First of all, I'm ready for Parade. Alex called me this week. She said, Kennedy Center, we're going to see this tour together. Yes, girl, we are going. And it is mainly because Talia Suskauer will be playing Lucille, and playing Frank is Max Chernin. And he was the understudy for Frank on Broadway for Ben Platt. He was his understudy. And Bryn was telling me yesterday that people would go to exclusively see him. Like, they loved his performance. And I love Talia because she was my Elphaba whenever I saw Wicked the second time, back when I lived in Texas on the national tour. And that time, and I should go back in my archives and watch the episode. Wait, I don't think I had the podcast yet, actually, because it might have been like 3 years ago. It was a while ago. And it was the second time I ever saw Wicked. And I was so excited, obviously, because the first time I had seen it, I was like 13. I was really, really young. And whenever I saw it the second time, I was so blown away by the Elphaba and the Glinda. I was like, they are perfect, quintessentially Elphaba and Glinda. And so to be able to see Talia in this role that I love, Lucille Frank, which for me, Michaela Diamond really carried Parade. I was blown away by her performance. I really enjoyed Ben Platt too. He is Ben Platt. But for me, I was like, Michaela Diamond should win the Tony. Like, this was her show for me. And I think Talia's just going to blow it out of the water. I think she's going to be incredible in this role. And it's not an easy role by any means. This is a hard, like, I can't even imagine being in this story 8 times a week. I truly cannot, because it is heavy, heavy, heavy. If y'all aren't familiar with Parade, it follows the story of this man named Leo Frank who is framed for murder, and he gets accused of some really, really obscene things. And all of these accusations are rooted in racism because he is a Jewish man from New York, from Brooklyn, who is now living in Georgia. And the people don't know what to do with a Jewish man. And so they're very anti-Semitic, and they accuse him of these things really because of that. And he's kind of in the wrong place at the wrong time. And the musical does make you kind of question, wait, did he do this? Could he have done this? No, he couldn't have done this. But at the same time, I don't know, the way the musical is written by Jason Robert Brown is so genius. I freaking loved it. And one of the wild things about Parade for me was whenever I saw it, I left and I was like, I don't think I liked that. I feel horrible after watching that. Like, that was not, I did not like that. And that's how I went to bed. I was like, I think I didn't like that. I thought the performances were incredible, but I don't think I liked that musical. And then literally like the next day and the day after that, I just kept thinking about it and thinking about it. I was like, I think I loved that. I've just never felt so terrible leaving a Broadway show, because it ends and it's a real story. So this is not a spoiler alert because it is a true story, but this is how the musical ends. He gets kidnapped from his jail cell and he is hung. And that is how the musical ends. It is heart-wrenching to watch. And I can't imagine performing in the show 8 times a week. So first of all, Max Chernin and Talia, y'all are strong for telling this story, and traveling the nation in order to do it is really admirable. And I'm really excited for them. And I'm really excited to see this show again. And yeah, so like after I had that first impression thinking, I don't like this, it grew on me and grew on me. And now it is one of my favorite musicals I've ever seen because it has stuck with me. It was just such a foreign feeling to leave a Broadway show feeling that way. And I never experienced that before, and I didn't know what those emotions were. I just thought I didn't like the show. But no, I actually loved the show, and it made a really profound impact on me. And y'all know I love shows where you learn things, and this was a historical story that I'd never heard of. Anyways, it's a wild story, and I'm really excited that these people are at the helm of it, to be honest with you, because I know Talia is a really incredible actress. I've seen her perform, and I know she's going to knock it out of the park. I have never seen Max perform, but from everything I've heard, I think he's going to do incredibly as well. So this tour is going to be starting at Minneapolis's Orpheum Theater on January 21st. Honestly, that's right around the corner. So soon, and more casting will be announced. We'll get to figure out who everybody else is. I really love, there's so many amazing characters in this show. Like the, what do they call them? The Factory Girls. They were such icons when they were on Broadway. I loved them. They like made TikToks and stuff. They were so cute. I hope I get to see them in something soon. I actually ran into one of the Factory Girls at Elsie Fest, and I was like, I loved you in Parade. Oh, that was funny. Anyways, I'm excited about that casting. But guys, that wraps up this episode of From the Mezzanine. Thank y'all so much for listening. Like I said, the exciting interview that you guys are at the edge of your seats to figure out who it is going to be coming in the next couple of weeks, I promise. So get excited about that. I have some other really awesome interviews coming down the pipeline as well. Oh my God. Like, I can't even express to you guys. I'm so excited. It could be somebody we mentioned today. Oh my God, was that an Easter egg? I think it was. So y'all can start doing your research. Love it. Y'all can like battle it out in the comments of who you think it is that we mentioned today that might be coming on the podcast. So yeah, let's get into what you do now. So now that you've listened to this awesome podcast, please leave me a rate and review wherever you are listening. Subscribe on YouTube. You can put on notifications where you're listening on Apple, on Spotify. That way you get notified when a new episode has been released. And leave me a rate and review, guys. Wait, I already said that, but let me just like say it again, because the reviews are really what amplify my reach for From the Mezzanine. And if you haven't left a review, I would really appreciate it if you would just go on to Apple Podcasts and leave From the Mezzanine a review. Let me know what you think of the podcast. I love reading them when they're good, and it really means the world to me that y'all take the time out of your day to just go the extra mile. I love it. If you want to become a Broadway bestie over on the Patreon, I'm so excited because this week I'm going to be releasing my next FTM Storytime, and we are walking through my theater resume from literally whenever I was like in 3rd grade in Seussical the Musical as Bird Girl number 3, all the way to like the end of my high school theatrical career. And I tell some like really crazy stories. Just to give you a little taste or like teaser, I suppose. One of the stories was like the worst day of my entire life. And it was during a run of Into the Woods where I played Cinderella, and I was Little Miss Sicky Vicky. And when I say Little Miss, my mom thought she was going to have to take me to the hospital, and I was thrown onto a stage to perform. It was crazy. Full story is going to be over on FTM Patreon this week. So go and join the Broadway Besties over there for $5.99 a month. I've also done like so much fun stuff. I'll be vlogging today at the Broadway Flea, and at the end of this month, I will edit and release a full FTM Broadway vlog. And it'll be like all the fun things that I've done this month with Bryn, with Josh, with Reed. Y'all know how it is. It's a good time. Okay, guys, thank y'all so much for listening, and I will see you next Tuesday. Bye.